Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fox Den. We're a couple
Hi.
minutes late. Yep, Mama D's got her
I was
beautiful
fixing my hair.
locks all long again. So I keep saying, if I haven't been cutting my hair, I could have nice long locks too. But, no one.
When she stresses, she snips.
That's true. And obviously, been a lot of stress lately.
Yeah, because her hair was down her booty.
It used to be, yeah, it used to be, and then it's never been there since. Never. I cut it in high school, and I've never been able to grow it long like that again.
Well, this is as long as mine's going to get, so everybody can stop stressing. At least I think. Every time it gets this long, I cut it short. So.
I love it. But listen, our guest is here with us. We got a ton of questions. I'm going to do it a little differently tonight. So hang with us. I'm going to play her video. Once I do, she will be with us and have your intergalactic questions ready. This week in the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, we welcome Viviane Chauvet. She is not your ordinary individual. She is an extraordinary being, a true advanced Arcturian hybrid avatar, walking the earth with a purpose that transcends the boundaries of this planet. A multifaceted luminary, Viviane wears many hats in her quest to uplift humanity and guide us towards planetary evolution. As a published author, international public speaker, and conscious interstellar voice channel, Viviane has spent over 2 decades honing her gifts and talents. Her journey into the realm of healing began when she experienced a profound awakening in 2007, unlocking her innate connection to the Arcturian Council, and from that moment she delved into holographic and quantum healing training, becoming a dimensional holographic healer like no other. In the course of her extraordinary life, Viviane has not only become a powerful conduit for star delegations such as the Lyrians, Sirians, Andromedans, and other interstellar groups, but also as an emissary for the Federation of Light itself. Her work as an ambassador for the galacticalliance.org cements her position as a true bridge between worlds, seeking to foster understanding and unity across the cosmos. In pursuit of her vision to transform lives and bringing healing to those in need, Viviane founded the Arcturian Energy Matrix Healing and the Arcturian Healing Arts Program. These groundbreaking healing modalities have touched countless souls, providing solace and growth in their journey of self-discovery. Ever the creative force, Viviane is a proud owner of Infinite Healing from the Stars, LLC, a sanctuary where individuals can embark on a transformative healing journey to find their own infinite potential. But that's not all. Viviane's influence extends even further. She is a producer and co-host of the Infinite Star Connections podcast, a platform where wisdom from across the cosmos is shared with an eager audience hungry for enlightenment. Viviane is not just a healer, speaker, and author. She is a living testament to the boundless potential of the human spirit, a radiant soul with a cosmic mission to bring light, love, and healing to a world in need. Step into her orbit and embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation that transcends all the boundaries of space and time, and we welcome you and everyone to the Fox Den.
I like that picture. Sorry.
Well, I do hope the graphics were okay in that.
Wow is what I can say. The level of energy, I feel like even myself, you took me on a journey. And I
Oh,
absolutely love the way you took the absolutely essential and essence of my bio and encapsulated it with not only sound and graphic, but the wording. And was like, yes, 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 yes. This is absolutely incredible. I am so
You just got
grateful.
reintroduced to
oh,
yourself.
thank you. Well, I mean, you were all those things and then some. And the thing is that was a hard thing for me to read. I am not privy to all the information that you are. I am not like you. So I've never met anyone like you, honestly. So I know as I'm reading the words and everything too, it was like, I don't even know if I'm saying them right. I didn't know what the different areas of, the galactic and the dimensions and all of this. So you have two brand new people right here that you need to educate,
Mm-hmm.
as well as our listeners that are going to be eavesdropping in and throwing in some comments and hopefully some questions as well along the line. So now what I did is I took some questions and I actually put them in our banners. So
Hmm.
I did this. So what is multidimensional frequency healing?
Yeah, I like that one.
I like that. That's a beautiful banner, and it's completely in sync what we're going to be diving into. So, you know that we are, if you feel the energy behind it, we are multidimensional beings.
Mhm.
So, when we do healing, healing becomes an umbrella, a bridge of exploration that allow to understand the dynamic between some of the soul fractal or influence from past lives overlapping into this lifetime, and to be able to bring in the resonance frequency that helps people to shift out of some distortion, old history, whether it's genetic markers, whether it's ancestral influences. So, of course, we have to approach the energy behind healing from a multidimensional aspect. So, to make it easy and accessible, I would describe it this way. How does it feel to you to receive those words?
That's well, you know what? When we think of healing using energy work, we think of it in that way too, as in, like the energy is coming from somewhere,
Yeah.
whether it's radiating from us, from the earth, from, where is it coming from? I never really thought of it as a multi-dimensional, almost like a being by itself.
Mhm.
Well, we have to approach it this way, and anything that we do, whether it's Reiki, whether it's energy transfer, whether the intention behind it become also a multidimensional conduit, because the intention behind the healing or the energy transfer, it also implying a frequency adjustment. It also implies that it will work whether it's the organs, whether it's the emotion, whether it's the heart, from a place of the multidimensionality, because we're not 3D linear beings, far from it. So the multidimensional frequency healing, it's bringing more into a higher reality and the potential that we can co-create. I'll give you an example. Today, right before our beautiful time together, I was working with a lovely lady from originally from Germany, but now she's in Norway. Okay, and without saying anything, because I really care about my clients and their privacy is important. I was just to illustrate that multidimensional frequency shifting for her really reopened new doors like it couldn't be before or seemed to be impossible even after a lifetime. Whether you're 20-year-old, 30, 40, 60, 88, 90, it makes no difference.
Mhm.
It really does not make any difference. So we're transcending also these mental illusionary barriers about, oh, well, at my age, what's the goal, or at the stage of where I am. No, it's everything is always an invitation to be able to embracing new aspect of living. Can you imagine stepping into new experiences? So you're reattuning yourself away from the same frequency band of certain experiences like fear, anxiety,
Mm.
core on unworthiness, you know, being anxious about the future, to be too much in the past. When you're shifting gears, it's like a radio station. When you start to tune in and says, "Now I am ready to embrace a higher frequency," that means you also ready to magnify and magnetize to you these higher experiences that corresponding to these higher frequency. For example, feeling more fulfillment, to be more centered with yourself, to know that you can feel, listening to your heart, or tuning to your internal intuitive guidance systems, trusting into the energy transmission that you do. You're shifting the way you're perceiving everything. So it changes the multidimensional aspect of your life. It's all aspect of it, if that makes sense.
It It
Yeah.
does. It really does. You explain really well.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Because we do work with, with energies, and it's like you're just explaining it kind of the same areas that we do use, but just a little bit differently, a little bit more in depth. So I
Mm.
think we're getting a deeper understanding of what, the energy, is, what it can do, how it can change us, for always for the better. Um, but where you're different is now you're an alien hybrid,
No,
right?
thank you. That's a compliment.
So how is that? I mean, how is that even possible? How do you know this? How explain this life? How did it start? When did it start? And I mean, I have so many questions.
I love it. Let's explore. Let's
Okay.
explore.
Yeah.
So, the hybrid part of me is my physical form.
Hmm.
I am a nocturne being and I took on a human hybrid form. So, I just want to pause it for a moment just to let that sink in. When did it start it? Well, thousands of years ago, a long time ago, and I'll tell you why. It's when the Arcturians were known as such a beautiful race of advanced intergalactic beings that were masters of light. We have ascended, reached higher level of living for thousands and thousands of years. We're one of the oldest intergalactic races known to this quadrant and known to this solar system. So we have gone around the block quite a bit and learned from evolution quite a bit. So when we start to monitor the timeline of Gaia, we knew that the solar system with Gaia would eventually enter a most or higher probability timeline that you know now today as the ascension. Ascension is simply a return to a state of grace, a state of alignment. It's a return to something higher. When we start to understand that the Earth has now finally entered into the higher probability of it, and we're looking at a multitude of timeline unfolding all at once, we can see which one will have a greater energy of coming into fruition. So we decided to bring more assistance directly to the entire human race and Gaia herself to finally embrace that reascension pathway and to make it more simple. So there was choices. I could have stayed in my original Octurian self and communicate through gifted people like both of you, for example, or many channel on the planet, or teachers or light workers who not only they don't have to be public, they can be just working with intergalactic intelligence for a long time. We could have gone that route, which we do because we communicate with our people
Hmm.
on planet. At the same time, we understood that being boots on the ground or being directly on the planet will have a greater direct impact. And we talk
And
about it in
yeah,
the
because
video, the
people won't
bridge.
believe. They don't believe unless they see and be able
Yeah.
to, like, see a physical being.
I'm sorry, I was talking at the same time, so I missed what you said. Can you repeat for me, please?
Sure. I said that people won't believe unless they see an actual physical person. The
Well,
ones that can hear is one thing, and feel and communicate with energies. That's one thing. But the people that cannot, they're the ones that need to see you.
Yeah.
that's a good point, depending on what state of consciousness you're in. But you know what is the irony, the paradox about it is that many people look at me and they go, but she looks so human. And when I said, right, I see a smile here,
Like
two
that.
smiles. And the answer to that is it's the idea. To your point, Gina, to your point, in a sense that if I were to look like what we really look like, we're beautiful. We have our own beauty,
Hmm.
maybe not by human standard, but for us, we see the radiance of our essence, and we love, who we are. I would be standing next to you, and you will go like, I don't know if I'm able to even perceive. So many people will not be able to perceive because the frequency will be too
Mm,
much.
yep.
So believe so. But to your point again, yes, I am more approachable. I am more relatable. It is easier to understand, to feel, and yet you can still perceive there's something different about me. And you will say, well, everybody feel very different.
Mhm.
Growing up, Starseed, I knew I was different from everybody else. I know I was different too. What I mean in a different way. There's something completely out of the human paradigm. There's something
Mhm.
quite now you can put your finger on it. And I hear that a lot. It's something I heard a lot throughout my life. It's like, yes, you look human, but yet when we look at you, we can tell the way you talk, there's an energy and demeanor that we
Yeah.
cannot put our finger. And I would say something out of space or out of this world. Yes, that's exactly it. That's my little secret ingredient.
Yep.
Mhm.
So if you were next to me, you would probably be blasting my eardrums out because, like, when a spirit, or an entity comes near me too close, it's deafening to me, and I have to tell it to
Oh,
back off, because it's like
interesting.
it's too much. So you'd probably be like that.
With probably, and I'm glad that you're sharing that with us, Gina, because it can tell that your clairaudience ability is really, really acute, like very sensitive, very open. So our presence, you may see me physically, but there's more than one being
Yeah.
around. So when we enter a room, it's many of us entering. The only difference is that my Arcturian team that collaborate with me or support me to my Earth mission, they're simply in their holographic light body and they are coexisting in just a different higher field in a higher frequency dimension, like in parallel to you. But you would be able to feel and hear the frequency coming in. That's interesting. Have you always had this gift or this ability?
No. Well, I mean, I could see entities before, like a couple times, but I had a near-death experience. And after that
Oh,
is when this happened, and I didn't understand what it was. I would hear three distinct tones, a low, a medium, or a high. If a high and a medium, I would not be worried about. A low tone comes in, I'm getting a little leery. That's just something not so good, you know and I'll stay away from that. Or especially if I'm taking people on a ghost hunt, and I hear that, I'll be like, "Oh, let's go this way,"
yeah,
away from that.
yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. What about you, Mama D? I'm curious.
I'm quiet one sometimes. I get physical uh, goosebumps.
Good.
So
Okay.
so for me, when I know when spirit is close, you'll like, especially sometimes we'll be doing a show, especially when we do our reading shows. I somebody will come in to continue a message along, and I'll get a physical vibration as to, okay, someone's here, whether whichever side they're on, and so that's for me is like I get goosebumps.
Very
That's
good. I like the
physical.
complimentary between the two of you. You
Oh
can,
yeah,
you can hear, I can feel. It's like the full body experience. That's awesome.
yep,
That's
yep.
why when the
We're
meetings,
yeah. We've been together for like many lifetimes. I really believe it.
yeah, true.
You know,
Yes, I
if,
can tell it's
She can't get rid of me.
nope, nope. I don't want to. I
it's all
don't.
part of the agreement. It's like the sisterhood energy going, no, we agree
Very
upon it.
true. Yeah.
Do we agree? Okay, let's do it.
Vivian,
Yeah,
can I ask you
exactly.
a question, please?
Yes.
Um, your accent, where is it from?
Ah, my accent. Yes, I call it my earthly signature, the
Hmm.
linguistic signature in this identity. So I love to ask people first, where do you think it comes from? So it makes me travel worldwide, and the answer I've been receiving is phenomenal. Where would you say this little sparkle of?
Okay, well, because I'm in Quebec, so there's a French tone to it. So, but it's like I have a very dear friend of mine, and I'm not sure where she was born. I know she was born in Quebec, but you have the same tones as she does, and she's a very strong. She's we'll say my mentor. If I have any issues with my spirituality or questions about it, I go to her. And there's certain things about the tone, certain tones, the way words you say, that just sort of click in at the exact same sound as hers.
Okay.
And I would say Nordic.
Wow, see? Well, Mamadi, if we were in a casino, you would win a jackpot right now.
Damn.
I grew up in Montreal, Quebec, so yes,
Fantastique. Ah ouais, non.
fantastic, absolument. I
Yeah.
grew up in a double French culture, actually. So on my mom's side, I grew up in Quebec, Montreal, Quebec,
Mhm.
obviously, French Canadian, with Quebec accent, tout le tralala. But from my human dad, they come from France, so very European, and
Oh,
so I
oui,
understand
comme
both.
ça. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and so I double deep, literally double French, and so English was introduced much later, and I learned English in school, literally. It's all by the book in school, so I have a tendency to create, like grammar structure or proper sentences, and people always say,
Oh, yeah. That's what gets me in trouble.
yes, well, that's the way I learned English. I didn't, I didn't
English,
like learn English
English is
in
a
school.
hard language to learn because we do everything different backwards than most languages.
Yeah.
But you know what, Gina? My octane group always been with me even when I was a kid in school.
Oh,
And when I was in high school, they came
Yeah.
in and they said to me, "You must master the language of English. You must learn it to a T."
okay.
So I was very highly motivated, and I was always doing very well, at least in classes. So they put me, the class teachers and directors would put me in advanced classes when it
Mhm.
comes to French and English and all of this because I had a nick for it. It's like I could read like sheets of grammar. I remember that Madame
Wow.
Diane Leduc, my teacher, she would say, "Learn your grammar," and you will learn column, sheets, and I can still remember, you
Mm.
know,
It's,
like
it's
begin,
funny.
began, begun, and
Yeah,
all of this, and you repeat.
being in school in the United States, when you are taught English every single year and the same thing every single year, and we'd be like, why are we learning a language that we know? Okay. But it is sentence structure. Now, I did not understand it until I took another language.
Ah, okay. See?
That's when I understood what the English structure actually was. And then I'm like, well, why is everybody saying, the girl pretty? It's not, it's the pretty girl, and it's like their
Mhm.
adjectives come after, so I'm doing Italian now. And it's,
Molto
and
bene.
you see, so yes, I mean, because I'm Finnish and Italian. I look Finnish, but inside I'm all Italian.
I can tell.
So I'm just, but as I'm learning it again, I'm going back to the one teacher that I had in school, and she was tough, and I loved her to death, and everybody hated her. But because I loved her, and I talked her up, everybody loved her, and then all the classes after that loved her. You
See?
know, and
It,
it's like it just takes one person to make a change
Mhm.
like that.
it really, really does. So I
Like,
think
you are going to learn from her. But let me let us
We
get
have a
back to.
question in the chat.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Sharon says, can two people on Earth plane have parallel lives at the same time? Good question.
good question, Sharon. So if you accept the fact or the premise that we all are, no exception, multidimensional beings, it implies that you also have what we will call parallel lives. If you look
Mm.
at your past lives, if you look at your past life, your actual life, or we talk about a future aspect of you, in reality, all of these aspects coexist with you in the now.
Mm.
So you can perceive it this way. So, yes, two people who may be more aware of this may say, it feels like there's another part of me in a parallel or an alternative reality. Or this person would say, I know what you mean because I feel the same way. So, yes, absolutely. Because the linear time construct of the way we perceive ourselves, we're born, this is where I grew up, we talk about school, linguistic classes, and where we are today. It's our linear way to pursue the human journey. But in
Mm.
reality, and I like to use my crystal all the time, for those who follow me, you'll recognize my crystal. You're only this much, there's only that much of you in the body, just a fragment.
Mm.
Imagine this beautiful, magnificent being. How many fragments can coexist alongside with you? So, for example, when you visit a country or you are on travel, and there's a sense of déjà vu. Déjà vu, if I want to say it in
Mhm. Mhm.
English, but it's French, déjà vu. a sense of familiarity that you've seen that place before, or you already lived that
Hmm.
scenery before. Well, most chances are that an aspect of you already have, and now that loop is just coming back like together, and that loop become, complete. Like you are simply entering that loop, and you go, "Oh, wait a second, this is familiar."
Yeah.
So, of course, and that really helps all of us to shift out of linear way of perceiving time. That's going to help humanity tremendously to unwind itself from the entrapment of the mental construct, emotional loop, same old story that keeps
Yeah.
people rolling over and over. So, great question, Sharon. I hope I was able to answer the question today.
I wanna kind of go up on that, but I have a guest that's coming in. Okay, this is Raven. Raven, meet Vivian. She has her own show, and she knows a little bit about things that you do, things that you know, or she has some questions about what you do. But now, what you were saying though, like this, how this parallel lives. Now, we always go back into our past lives, and there's a lot of ways to go into the past lives to correct something that involves you today. So if you're afraid of water today, you maybe drowned in a past life, right? So you want to fix that, right? But instead of thinking of it as a past life, it's just
Hello.
a past parallel life,
Hmm.
because it's still all one, and there's like thousands, and then it goes out and into the universe as star seeds, as before we even came here. So it is an endless thing, and I like the way that you perceive that. But I'm going to let Raven ask you some of her questions.
First of all, I would like to say I love, honor, and respect both of you, Gina and Mama D. Just love you so much.
Love you too, girl.
And Vivian, it is such an honor and a blessing to even get here to even ask you anything. So thank you so much. I'm
Okay.
just so honored. I do work as a aura regressionist. I go into people's past lives, and not only me, there are several people who come up with different, I would say, ETs or things like that. And I noticed that you work for a couple of different. You're an ambassador for the Galactic Alliance, and you work with the Federation of Light. Now, is this intergalactically, or is this earthly, or both?
Hmm. That's a great question. So I would say it's really my Octarine avatar self, or my Octarine self, that has really conveyed this role, taken on this role. Octarians overall, we are known as ambassadors and great diplomats. We are oftentimes asked either by different layer of council throughout the Federation or different association of worlds to be deployed to either a place specific in the multiverse, looking at, let's say, a young race in the midst of an evolution, or a place in an aspect of our galaxy where there's, been conflict or things going on, and we're going to go there. So this is where we've been asked in this Milky Way a long, long time ago, when the Earth was at the original state. We knew that there was a young planet designed as an ark for genetic material. And so we were deployed, we were asked by some aspect of, well, the Federation, if you want, or Association of the Light, to come and monitor that part of that multiverse. So this is why we've been around this solar system for a very long time. So it really is through evolving as a soul level, is really through being a Nocturian. I've been a Nocturian for a long time, but also have different soul aspect in different group. And I've also a lot of connections with the Andromedan, connection with the Elven, the Galactic Elven groups. So it is really that part of myself. Now, to you, when I'm here speaking with you and exchanging with you, you would say, is your human part also an aspect of it? But remember, it's the same being. It's just I took on this form. So when I'm not on the planet and I go off planet, which I do a lot, by the way, then of course I resume other functions. But one of the things that was put by in my video, beautiful video, by the way, I absolutely love it, is then I was identified as a bridge of worlds, and it's so very true. I am truly here as a direct bridge, which is why I chose to have a physical vessel that has enough human energies and being able to help me to be here in this form. But you have to understand one beautiful thing about us is that rarely will we embody the form of another race to be on the planet for so long. So for me to be here in this human form, it's really an extraordinary act of love. I always say it's an act of love for Gaia and for billions of different sentient life form here. And I chose to do it this way because I knew the impact. I knew that it would be making such a huge difference in terms of the acceleration. Now, with that being said, I have received also a lot of pushback. So the denser side understand who I am. They know exactly who I am. They're not full. They're not really. They don't care about that. You look human. They refer to me as a Nocturian. They know who I am. So I have been getting a lot of pushback. Many of us have, by the way. I'm not the only one. I want just to acknowledge that.
Mhm.
Right, just being as an Arcturian, the denser side, or what's called the dark light polarity, they understand the implication of having an Arcturian in a human form can have. And of course, I am super grateful for the multitude of very gifted individuals like the three of you on this call doing so much work, helping people, helping soul to remember and rekindling their power. It's all about our sovereignty. It's all about reclaiming our sovereignty.
Yeah.
And that's the sovereignty is that freedom of being. And this is where imagine thousands and thousands of lotus flower of life blossoming around the planet. What would you think happen? It's ascension. It's the path where we're co-creating, co-manifesting together. So I chose just to, let's say, bring additional nutrients to accelerate the growth. Like, let's bring
Right.
that acceleration.
Right.
Yeah,
I think the internet is a good accelerant for that.
Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have any affiliation with the Council of Nine?
that's a great question, Raven. We understand Council of Nine, Council of 12. There's a multitude of layers of councils. So we work a lot with direct a high council of different representatives of many civilizations, like for example, the High Council of Orion, the High Council with Andromedan, the Lyran, especially with the original library of the human genetic template, working also with the High Council of the Pleiadians, with those who are the original, the builders of forms. There will be sub-council we can work with. Even our own realm actors, we do have also our own council and a council of elders. So there's a multitude of what we call council. So there may be a group of 9 beings that may be working with the most, and I would say most likely we do have an affiliation or a partnership because it's a really huge association. You have to think that there's a multitude
Mhm.
of interstellar or interdimensional groups that really work in different partnerships, synergy structures. I work, for example, with clients who are representative of the Association of the Scientific Community, and not just here on the planet, which they are.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to be like, what are the topics that you discuss or handle?
Yeah.
Or do you manipulate things or stop things?
I am not quite sure I understand the question, Gina. Can you clarify for me, please?
Sure. If you're in this, what did you call it, Raven?
Council.
The council. Right. So you're having a meeting with the council. Do you have certain topics that you would discuss, say, current events that are happening on the planet at the time, or relative to that, what's going to affect mankind in the future. I mean, are there things that you discuss? Are there things that you can change or stop happening? You know, in the
Okay. It's a very profound question, so I'm glad you clarify. I want to make sure I was in tune with you. Yes, there are different topics, different. For example, if we work in partnership with the spiritual hierarchy responsible for the earth evolution, then we will look in terms of what is the next stage, what is the science of consciousness, what is going on in terms of support system, and is there things we can stop? We are constantly deflecting um, malicious or very nefarious form of beings coming through that you have no knowledge of. And
awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
yes,
They
and
need the security.
Yes.
I had actually heard that there was a block in the airways of Earth so that the I want to say bad energy, bad entities or whatever could
Hmm.
not get through. Is this true?
Put that up.
to a certain degree, let's just say that imagine the blue pearl and Mother Gaia in your where you are, and then you have all the other planets around you and the sun, and then different depending on where we are. Some of the vessels are more closer in proximity to the Earth orbit, others will be more in proximity to, let's say, the ring of Jupiter, not Jupiter, Saturn, the ring of Saturn with a console there, or the corridor of Jupiter, or we want to be closer to Mars. So there's always a lot of fleet, not just ours, but from the delegation, the association, that those who are working in partnership to protect and elevate the Earth to the next level. I know that on our level, the Octurns, our armada or our fleet, they're very well known for our firepower. We're we're a diplomat and ambassador, but we can really
Mhm.
take it to the next level if we can.
Awesome.
Unnecessary.
Awesome. So this is kind of along the same lines. Sharon also has a question. The construct of the universe, does it have a maker or makers throughout the multiverse?
Mm,
Wow,
yes,
that's a good question.
that's a powerful
Pretty
question.
deep. Yep.
Well, again, let's go back to the essential. Let's go back to the very core of our being. We know, and we're at least we're rediscovering and re-accepting more and more and more that we are truly those divine essence of light. We are these eternal beings of light. And through the energy of who we are, we have a multitude of experiences, whether it's your pure consciousness, whether it's physical incarnation on a planet, different civilizations, whether it's the space between the space, we have a multitude of experiences designed for the soul to learn, evolve. Now, the time construct of the universe itself, it has to go back to Prime Creator. If you look at the one singularity mind of the Prime Creator and all these holographic projection in terms of universes, multiverses, countless dimensions, plane of existence, all of this, it's all aspect of the Prime Creator into different aspect. Now, to you, you may say, I heard the names Omega, Alpha, or different names that have been given to these other level of so-called deities,
Mhm.
or you know, God, or sub-creators, or the Elohim, whether it's the original, uh, those who are the original blueprint, those are bring the construct of time and forms, and the builders of form. That's the word I was looking for, the builders of form. But if you look in reality, it's the same thing as we talked about a moment ago with councils and multitude of star regency, and the federation is a big label, and you have different alliances of world and different association. Well, the multiverse is, or the universe itself, if you take back in the original core, you can feel the energy, the synergy, the omnipotence, the omnipresence of the Prime Creator. And then from there, there's so many sub-level. I mean, you could just take one plane of existence, contain time, countless subdimensions, and multiverse into it, and galaxies, and interstellar presence, and planets, and it's very complex.
Hmm.
So Can we say who
So
are
it's
the
like
maker?
is it like is like the Earth has its ley lines, so space has kind of like the same type of ley lines that this energy can travel upon and the dimensions can live upon.
In a very, very simplified way, yes.
Yeah. And I also I don't want to interrupt, but I also want to I think that some of the talking points for you was a quantum DNA and 12 strands. Now, does that have a play in this too? This subject, as in, what is quantum DNA? Is that allowing for the multi dimensions that is in all of us?
Think of it as a reawakened gateway that reminds you within your own DNA that you contain a multitude of genetic archives, memories, information encoded. So, yes, you contain within you the immense information. So, as above, so below, imagine what you carry within you. And I'm smiling because, Raven, I see your cat coming in just
Yeah.
as you speak certain
Yep.
words come in and out, and I absolutely love it. So,
Yeah, we're very animal friendly in the box.
Yeah.
well,
Have to do. We have no choice.
exactly. Thank you. There we go. There she goes
Yeah,
again.
again.
I always says a friend of animal is a friend of mine because I absolutely adore them, and of course I have cats at home with my Bengal girl, and so I always pay attention. If you have an animal and they come in the room, I'm no longer listening to you. I'm looking at your animal. I'm just
Know the feeling.
Our animals are up. Mine's
yes,
right here. Hers are behind her.
I
Hers is
got
right
one
up.
over there, one over there, and one out there.
love it. Love it. It's just that Raven, I just see your baby coming in and out at just certain time, and like, oh, here comes the Lawrence. Oh, here she goes.
This is
What are you
actually
doing?
her favorite room. She thinks it's hers.
Well, come on.
Of
With all
course,
the
it is
positive
hers.
energy that goes on in that room,
Huh?
with all the good energy and the vibrations that go on in your
Yeah,
room,
this is my Reiki room. This is my office, you
she a
know.
wicked cat.
She
Yeah.
thinks it's hers, but that's okay. We let her think what she wants.
I'm not gonna argue with her.
Oh, oh yes, it's
That's
it's
amazing.
her room. She's letting you borrow it. That's the
Right.
way it works.
All right, so I'm going to put up another question here. Well, or talking points for you actually. Soul matrix healing and holographic body template upgrades.
Mhm.
What does that even mean?
I love it. So let's take a deep dive about what it means according to the way we perceive it. So when we talk about your soul matrix, we are referring to the think of it as a heart network or your heart field. The soul matrix contains a multitude of soul fractals. So when we work with someone and we see that something is profoundly affecting them at a core level, we're going to look into the soul matrix. And after time, what it means is that we're going to we identify what fractals that matrix may be disassociated or has been, left behind through either it can be a 50,000 year cycle of a lifetime and there's measurable fragment there. So we do it, we go back to the timelines at any directions and we look to see what pertains to that person and we bring through the higher self these fractals, but there's a way to coach these fractals. So we looking at the appropriate timeline the fractal is in, and we help to clear that. We bring these fractal back in what's called a restoration of their soul matrix, and also help with the blueprints. So there's a way we have with the occurrence and within the holographic field, and we do that. So to the clients, I said to give you a visual, imagine this beautiful energetic matrix of light that is returning to your heart, and that is helping you to feel that you're integrating that matrix, and that helps you to bring all these fractal back home to you. So, I give that imagery so it's easier to, um, understand and feel, and it's an
Yeah.
experience.
That's awesome. But now this upgrade,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
that's that. And so it's like so once you accept it and you feel it and you're bringing all these particles back into you, then you will, in turn, be an upgraded version of you.
To a certain degree, yes. If you look, the word upgrade was in reference to the holographic body template.
Mm.
So we look at the body or the human and the human template on a holographic level. You just pure pixel of light. It's like gateways and highways and structures of pixelation of light. And it forms a structure. So we work at that level to create a template or an intelligent template that will help the physical body. Once the template comes in and integrate, it gives instructions to the body consciousness, and it can upgrade or simply reattune or readjust what needs to be done for that person, in accordance for that person we are working with. So everything is done very, very carefully in alignment with the person and what that person is ready also to receive. So we have observed some protocol behind it.
Okay. Now you are saying we. So that is you and the council members?
No, it's a good
You,
observation. I'm so used to it. It's my Arcturian group and I.
okay.
So I am always in direct connections with my Arcturian delegation. There's no separation because I'm on a planet. But remember, it's only a fractal of me that is on the planet. So I'm
Yeah, so
on the
you're here,
planet, but I'm not at the
yeah,
same
you're
time.
here and there at the same time. Now,
Mhm.
does that
Mm.
Bless
get
you.
confusing to you? To like, you ever like, you'd ever like tune out of here? You don't tune out completely.
Oh, yes,
You know?
sometimes I disconnect from this time matrix reality. And then if it's for a certain time, then they have to coach me. Remember, you have to go back to this reality. Remember, you have this body. Oh, yeah, okay, now I remember. But sometimes, if I travel very far, especially in astral plane, when your body sleeps, and I come back, I look at the room around me. Oh, that's right. I'm on this planet. I'm in this reality, and then I have to bring myself back in. But yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
usually
All
know
right.
where I am.
I gotta, kind of, maybe it might be a awkward commercial, question, but yes, there's a love. That's
Oh my
Coco.
God.
But when you say, so you've come into this body, you chose to be here and such, so you've been in this body since a baby, but your baby was born, the baby you as a baby was born to humans, correct?
No,
No.
this
Oh,
is not how I came about.
okay. Explain.
Yes. Yeah, I came about a bit differently. So how can I make it easy to understand? Extraterrestrial beings, especially enlightened ones, we do have certain technology that allow ET beings to embody in a template or a body or a human body. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean that it's the product of the union of two humans the way you conceive it here. So my physical vessel was constructed or engineered according to these technology that we have. And there's been collaboration also with the Andromedan to perfect that structure. And only certain gene, foundational gene was added. And I chose it this way so I can have a better connections to Gaia and a better connections here on the planet. But when the way I came about is we would say I was born on my Arcturian father's ship. And how do I know that? Where do I take that from? It's because I have memory and they help me remembering. They told me it was important for me to know and to remember that much. So I see the ship, I see how everything was going on. I saw my mom in our own medical facility with a group of Arcturian around her. I saw my Arcturian father. I saw my human dad, and we were communicating with each other, and I was like a witness in time. So they brought me to see how things happen. I asked them why did it have to be this way. The answer is we had no knowledge or no certainty. Let me rephrase. We had no certainty that the body would be viable. So we had to make sure that in order for the mission to succeed, that you will be entering the body and the body will be viable. Once the body was stable, then I was reintroduced into the appropriate timeline back into the planet. And the first 3 months were crucial. And sure enough, within the first 3 months, the body was perishing. It did not work. So they had to bring me back again and readjust the template completely because it was not working.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah,
That's
it's complicated.
it's very complicated. Now, did
Yeah.
you have issues growing up, like, maturing with like food or allergies or airborne things or anything like in those lines?
A lot, actually. The digestive system always been an issue. The intestinal tract is working. It was very difficult. I couldn't keep a lot of food, and then I stabilized a little bit more. The respiratory tract and the immune system was also very challenging. And of course, the skeletal muscular structure was extremely challenging for me. I used to break bones really easily. I could just sneeze and break a bone if it was too hard. Oh yeah, it was to a point, and my mom was used to it at some point. And I would come back from school. She goes, "Okay, what bone is broken today? This finger." So we go to the
Oh my God.
clinic. Says, "Yeah, the bone is it's broken. Okay, we'll do something."
But I mean, that's moms. Moms know everything, even when
Yes.
we think they
Yes.
don't.
They do. Mine in particular, she has a sixth sense, so
Uh,
she's very into it.
yeah, I used to drive my kids crazy because they couldn't get away with anything.
See? Yeah, we're in great company, ladies. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
she is still to this day. I call her. Something is off in the tone of your voice when you said this word. What's going on? I'm like, oh shoot, and I thought I
Mom
was so
knows.
transparent. Mm-mm.
So now I'm going to go back. I'm going to still stay on this kind of timeline right here. As you're growing up, and it kind of goes along with this, right? How did the Acturians work with you and train you? So as you're growing up here in this body and dealing with all the issues with that body, how did they come to you to train you, say, to forward your mission here, what you're supposed to be here to do?
Mhm.
It's a great question. Thank you for asking. You have to think that I am a nocturne being, so I do retain the necessary information that I need to simply helping me to adjust in this lifetime. The coaching that part of the human aspect of myself. All I have to do is to tune in with my nocturne self, and especially when we go back to the ship, they will say, "Okay, now the timeline has shifted. We have to look where the consciousness is at on the planet. We're going to now bring the next level and the next level." So, in other words, I couldn't have access to all the information right away because the timeline was not ready. It could have jeopardized the timeline, and it could have been exposing myself to the denser dark polarity, and it would have been, let's say, dangerous. So we
Oh,
have to be very, very careful. And we have to also be mindful that we're not interfering with the natural evolution. We're not here to interfere. We're here to enhance, support, and
protect.
inspire in the right direction.
Yeah,
If
I
that
like.
makes sense.
Yes, I like it, and thank you. Raven, did you have more questions that you
Oh,
wanted?
yeah, I was just enjoying this. Now, I just wonder, did everyone that was around you know that you were Arcturian when you were growing up, or did you keep that private?
That's a good question, Raven. Only my parents knew.
Kind
Now,
of makes sense to me because children are picked on for so many things. If you had revealed this when you were a child, the attention that you would have received would have been negative. So kind of
so
sort of
your
makes
human
sense.
parents knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point, Mama D. We couldn't talk about this, and my Octane group will also coach my human parents. So
Okay.
you have to think that they are also in communication with each other. It's part of the agreement. We're very transparent with each other. Everything is disclosed. Everything is a partnership. Nobody got taken against their will. Nobody were forced to have a hybrid child. It was a long time coming soul
Okay.
partnership for generations. So my parents are very aware of me. I do have a brother, and he's very gifted and amazing. To him, I'm just his little sister.
But yeah.
To him, it's like he's the one I grew up with. We're playing, being with each other. He knows that I have certain, let's say certain trade or certain needs.
Hmm.
Growing up, he had to be careful around me and gentle and all of this. But to him, I'm just a sister. But my parents are still, they know to this day, they still communicate with each other. I mean,
Hmm.
they come and visit them, and then
Yeah.
I tell them, you keep an eye on them. They said, yes,
Yeah.
we do.
So we're on the subject. And Sharon says, all right, so when you were born on the ship, did you enter the Earth Child with no soul?
And my soul was already, and let me show me my crystal again. The fractal of myself was already in the body when I returned when I was reintroduced to the earth. So
Okay.
yes, I was already in the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Raven.
Hey, babe.
Well, yeah, because we are all, I'm a fractal of myself, and I am a fractal of others as well as in other lives, parallel lives. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, um, are you familiar with the laws of one?
Yes.
I was just wondering, and are you familiar with the entities that brought us the laws of one?
What is the laws of one?
Yeah, because I don't.
Um, Geesh, it's a whole lot.
Okay. So send it to us in Messenger.
That there is one cosmic unity thinking. We are all one.
Oh, okay. All right. So like a universal unity.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. I get it. Okay. Well, I would admit that would be a crucial part of whatever councils she might be on, or any of the galactic factors. I think that would be important to be as one. I wish the world would do that. We can't.
Right.
The only time
Yeah.
that this world came together and actually did something was COVID. As one, that we all had to do the same thing. The only time ever. So it's possible, So why can't we all come together to join these consciousnesses and, for the betterment of man, as opposed to, who's the man that has to be on top of the heap all the time and have everything? Let the ego and the greed be put aside of humanity and actually work to better ourselves in our communications and to communicate with, more people like Viviane, or beings like Viviane, to better us.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that actually the agenda, is to overcome the programming and to bring us back to source and unconditional love? And because unconditional love to me is the thing that makes everything work.
Yep.
Yes. At the same time, is trying to understand is what part of you understand unconditional love. So this is what part of the humanity is coming through, is unwinding itself from, mental understandings. And I see that not necessarily with you, but I'm just saying overall, we look at there's a mentalized approach to spirituality, and there's a mentalized understanding of what unconditional love. You haven't experienced it just yet. The day you're going to really understand what unconditional love is, it's going to be a game changer here. So yes, we're definitely here to support that and to inspire you to be more and more and more the higher potential you can be, and to understand that Instead, to identify yourself as an earth human is I'm this divine soul having this human experience, right? Like Raven talked about her different fractals. This is how I serve Creator in this reality is I come as an intergalactic being helping a younger race to return in a point of mastery. This is how I choose to serve. Once my earth mission is complete, I will return first to be Nocturian, but from there I can choose to be beyond being a Nocturian and be leave that identity again, another construct called the Octurian world, and
Wow.
go beyond. I can do that, and I know that I was given an opportunity to do it a few years ago. I was given a chance to release myself from these identities and move on into different plane of existence. But I felt that I have to finish to complete what I've come here first, and then come back as an Octurian. Then after that, I can choose what is the next level of my evolution I can want to. And that's what we do. We're also helping souls coming from a different level of experiences, and we look helping what that soul is best for them. What is your next level? If you
Mm.
want to go back being an intergalactic being like an Andromedan or go beyond to be formless, you can. But it depends on what level. The soul is always allowed to evolve. And that's what the high beings of light always tell me. It is always considered as an evolution. The soul will always be allowed to evolve, even though for us, here in this perspective, we see some people or soul group that we feel like are stuck, but in reality, they're evolving the way they need to, and then they're going to move on eventually.
Yeah.
But it's always evolution one way or another.
Yes.
So, and that's the beauty is that no one is stuck in one identity.
That's always a plus, because someone will always say, this life is horrible and I can't wait to get to the next one. It's like, well, you can improve this one. You can.
Yeah, you got to work on it. People don't. Some people just kind of assume it's going to come, like just be there, done, over, done with. Some people don't realize it's work. It's a process.
Yeah.
But we made these choices to have
Exactly.
experiences.
Yeah, but some people don't remember those choices. Don't realize it was a choice. It was our choice before we incarnated here. Some people are like, that's not my choice, and it's a it's a learning process for all of us, and good, bad, or otherwise, we all have to just take it as a learning process. Some people don't get it though.
And we don't know how powerful we are because we can change it just like that.
Yes.
That's true. That's true too. Vivian, how do you see people? Do you see people as energies? Do you see people like you in a different way? Is there a way that you guys see each other, or is it just the energy? You feel it, you sense it, or do you physically see it?
So that's a two layers question. So how do I perceive people here? Well, I can tell the level of personality that the soul has interweaved based on the history. I can feel also the what I call the intentional energy or anything in your field. So when we people speak with me, I listen to okay verbally what you're telling me, but I can see what your energy is also sharing with me. So it's more of a like, how could I say that? I don't perceive anyone as
Action.
flat and linear,
Mhm.
just flesh and bone. This is their names and this is their background. Is when I start to listen very carefully, you know, I see multiple aspects coming in all at once. So it's just, sometimes flashes of personality trait from other lifetime will come in and out like this to show me the soul wants to know, hey, this is influencing me in this lifetime, but I may be aware or not aware of it. I'm like, okay, thank you for that, letting me know. Or if you feel more self-assured, or if you feel like you're holding back, I feel it. So I'm super sensory sensitive. So
Yeah. So in a way, kind of, you are like a human lie detector test. Well, you're not human, but you know what I mean.
Really
A
empath.
physical lie detector test. So if I'm telling you one thing, and then in my brain I'm going, I'm not really talking the truth. You can feel that in the energies, what you see, and everything else. The multi-link, okay, like that. Can
Oh,
you
yeah.
can I bring you places? I'm like, we're gonna go. We got some people to talk to.
No, it's very interesting. It's really interesting, but it helps me. I use this information to better understand the person I'm in
Yeah.
front of, or the
Hmm.
group, or the dynamic among themselves. Um, I do that also when I do private group healing. Sometimes it can be 4, 5 group friends together, and I can see what the dynamic, or I can tell where they are. Like, okay, ladies, what's different this month? I can tell this one is this way, the energy is here, this one is here, and I can tell, and just
Yeah.
because I pay attention. Well, it's a secret art that we can all have. It's just a matter of really observing and using all of your senses at
Hmm.
once.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And
people always say things like, "Oh, don't judge people. Don't judge people." Well, you know what? We do judge people. We
Oh
judge
yeah.
people because of the fact that, if there is a negative person, we are not going to be friends with them. If there's a person that does not believe, and is
Doesn't
harsh
understand.
what the things that we believe in, we're
Uh-huh.
not going to be friends with them. So that isn't, in fact, a way of judging. So in communicating, and when we have a lot of different types of people on our show, and a lot of people we can communicate really easily with. Like, you're easily, you know, acceptable. You know what I mean? Like, easy to talk to.
You
Understand
flow.
you.
It's not like there's certain guests where we feel like we're pulling teeth, and it's like no,
Yeah,
with you it's just
yeah,
like it's chill.
yeah.
yeah, all right. And I know what you mean because I'm a podcast host myself, and sometimes people come, or I remember one time, and I won't tell the name because I'm very diplomatic. This beautiful gentleman come to and he sits in front of the camera, and he asking me 36 questions one after another, and there's no expression, no input, no nothing. It's one after
Wow.
another. What is holographic healing? What are you here for? What is the Octroyanor? And it goes like this for about an hour. I was exhausted after an
Oh
hour
yeah.
Of course, yeah.
because he grabbed so much energy out of you without, I don't know if you're aware or unaware. I'm going to invite something because we're also observing the linguistic field of the earth is shifting. So instead of using the word judgment, how about you are observing? So I observe what people are saying.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you judge them. You simply say you are observing that
Hmm.
person is saying A, but they mean Z. And you go, thank you for telling me what you're really thinking or feeling because I can perceive it. Or
Yeah.
observing certain behavior going, well, that reveals more information to me. So thank you for allowing me to understand better where you are right now. And
Okay.
so there's some keywords that I can see as shifting from judging to observation.
I
And that's
love
why I
that.
say I observe a lot. I can be just sitting there and it doesn't look like I'm doing much, but I'm learning a lot.
I know. Well, that's like Mama D. She's always so quiet over there, but she's watching all the different chat rooms and putting links in and doing this and doing that all the time. So everyone's like, "Well, Mama D doesn't talk a lot." I'm like, "Mama D does a lot."
Yeah.
she's
Y'all
always
don't want me to talk a lot.
she's, she's constantly doing stuff. Between all the different rooms and the different things that we're live on. And so she pays attention to everything.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's what make a great balance.
Yeah.
It's something when we have my podcast with my co-host Jeff. Jeff will be more like watching and all of it, and I'm monitoring the chat room, and I'm the liaison. But it's create a dynamic that works. That's what makes
Exactly. It works for us. And
right.
everybody has to find their forte, and it's just something that we do. And we just sort of fit in together. It just works perfectly. I have to do this because I'm gonna plug it. But tomorrow night we're on Raven's show. Gina and I are
Yeah, she has a show as well. So we're on her show tomorrow night at 8:00. Everybody, so you can come in. It's going to be two. Now these two, they got to point this way, and I got to point this way. All right, now these two are like Reiki people, and me and Jess are more paranormal people. So it's like the same. They have the same dynamic, as we do. It's funny.
Speaking of Reiki, I heard that Reiki was given to us by the ETs. Do you know anything about that?
I do. So, it is my understanding when I explore Reiki, I was curious about it.
Mhm.
So I explore it to up to a level, and I can feel that I would recognize the symbols. I recognize some.
Mm.
I can tell. To me, it looks like light language.
Okay.
The symbol, and of course, he was more introduced. You have to look in terms of where Reiki was introduced on the planet
Mhm.
and to the planet, not to on the western part, to Japanese masters and all of this.
Yeah.
To look at the history energetically, for what I understand is it came from the Pleiadians, the Pleiades. Yeah, Pleiadians. Ah, yes, I use a language, use a semantic or light language. But just to wrap up Raven's question, which is a good one, I can feel that. And as I speak, your girl has just came back into the room. So she's just amazing how much
You
she came.
talking Reiki energy?
The right time. The right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she's
feels
really.
energy. She's very good at energy.
Oh, I can tell. It's like very on point. There we go. Thank you for coming. She looks like a little mini lion.
She got a little ball on the end
A
of her
little
tail.
puff on her tail.
Yeah.
She does. I have to groom her because she's a long-haired cat and she doesn't really like people messing with her. So we have to sedate her to groom her. So I just cut her like a little lion so I don't have to do it so often.
Okay.
Doesn't get matted and get skin issues and stuff like that. We just have to work with her.
Good. Good.
She's like mama's baby.
Quick question for you because when you sedate her, what do you use to sedate her safely? Because I need to do that for my girl because she won't let me clamp her claws and it's.
I don't sedate her. I go to a veterinarian's office.
Okay.
And I have a deal with him where I groom sedated animals for him, and then he sedates her.
Okay.
We did try giving her a pill that he gave me, but the minute she saw the grooming table, she was just like woke right up. So, but you can talk to your veterinarian, and maybe you can get away with giving the pill, and maybe you can do that with your cat. Just to do that. She's different.
Well, mine
They want
too
her mama.
because yeah, she like exactly.
This
If I
my
think
dog. My dog will not let me cut his nails. He will fight me tooth and nail, right? But I take him to the groomers. Now I rescued him, a year and a half ago. He's like 15 now ish. He's an older dog, but a very spry older dog. I mean, he looks like a little fox. But I take him to the groomers, and he's just like, "Here you go, here you go. Oh, yes, you can do that paw too. Oh, the dew
Yep.
claw, no problem." And they're like, "Oh, he's such a love." I'm like, he will not let me do this at
But
all.
there's a difference. It's like our children. They may never listen to us, but they'll listen to a friend's mom say the exact same thing. Your child will not sit still because you're a mom. But when it's somebody else, it's like, oh, that's my friend's mom. They make sense. Oh yeah, no, totally.
So, but have you tried to take the cat to a groomer to do the nails? Does makes no difference?
well, I have a Bengal tigress at home.
Damn.
Oh, I want one. I just talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, yes, and she shredded the vet to pieces, so I got kicked out of several offices. No, there's no vet for her. Forget it. No, just to hear the word. If I think about it, she's already started to growl at me, and she tells me telepathically, "I know what you're thinking." She's extremely.
Like, Mom, I'm gonna get you.
Oh, that's Faye Kitty. I'm telling you, that's Faye Kitty.
Yeah, they're smart like that. They're definitely intuitive.
Sharon says I place each cat upside down on a towel in the bathroom with a purring toy. They just let me do it. Yeah, show me that purring toy.
Good for you. Well, I groom cats and I groom dogs for a living, and cats are very tricky. I'm telling you.
Well, do they put the cats in the thing like they do the dogs, like with the the harness thing.
What I do is I make a harness around their body because cats will fly,
Hmm.
and you don't want to have anything around their neck when they're flying.
Nope.
Oh
Nope.
yeah. That's true. That's true.
Good point. Good point, Raven. So it is a joy of being in the feline world. We love them so much.
Yeah, they're the rulers. You guys are
Mhm.
the slaves.
Darn.
It's just the way it is.
But
And
that's why she has the little lion cut and she's got the little ball on her tail. I
Yeah,
mean, it gives her a little style.
There you
yeah,
go.
it's cute.
Hello. Yeah.
I love it. I do love it. Oh my goodness.
I
Do the
like,
Arcturians have pets? Are there pets?
well, you have to, not in the sense that you see it here, no, because pets, as you see it, is just another form of sentient life form, and the soul come to experience these forms. But we call them pets here, but it's not the same way. It's not perceived the same way. There she goes again. And Mama D, I saw your boy. I mean, like really loving up on you.
That's my girl.
And that's your girl, sorry.
My
Yeah, the
boy is
boy.
a Shih Tzu, and he's about this big, but he thinks
Oh.
he's like this big.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
Well, your girl is very, very loving with you, and
Yeah.
it's just I love to connect to their energy, to the way they communicate, their presence. I know my girl communicate with me all the time, and she tells me that she goes.
Oh, yep. I'm totally in
What,
tune with
Mom?
all the animals all the time.
Mm.
No doubt. My mom, I had always had black labs, like a lab like she, like hers. Always had black labs, always really super smart. I mean, I could teach them, I would say one thing to them one time and they would just learn it and do it. And that was it. And my mom used to always say to me, why don't you just be a dog trainer? Because I'm like, because I love them. I'm really, really, really super in tune. However, then I got Lacey, my little dog, the little Papillon. I would say, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Just come here. Come here. Okay, I'll go get you. She didn't know her name. She didn't know anything. She knew food.
Oh no, she knew what she was doing. She's like, if I sit here long enough,
Labs they read the obedience book, and they're just waiting for you to catch up.
there you go.
They're
I
ready.
used to show and train Afghan hounds, and what divas!
Yeah, because my labs, I mean, it was amazing. I had this one lab Max, and we took out onto the beach all the time, and it was the only dog on the entire beach. Nauset is, and it was at the time it was like this 10-mile long strip where all the campers and we'd be out there for 3 days and stuff, and they would patrol it with the patrolmen rode the four-wheelers, so when we saw them coming, everybody would be scrambling to put their dogs on a leash, and I'd be sitting there, Max would just be sitting there like, shouldn't you put that dog on a leash? I'm like, nope. Nope, because we did it, like I knew all of them because we were out there all the time, and we put them to the test. We just said, Max, sit. I said, stay. That dog will stay all day until I tell it to move. I said, do it whatever you want. Whatever. They were trying hot dogs and throwing balls and running by and kids running by and driving the four-wheeler right close to it, all this stuff. Wouldn't budge. Would not budge. Look at me and I'd be like, nope, and would not budge. It was my bait dog, would help me carry in groceries, shut the door. I had to get up in the morning just to open the door. The dog would go out, come in, I'd just leave it open a little bit. She'd come in, shut the door, throw things away from me. I mean, it's the endless list of what that dog could do.
No.
And then I had Lacey. Nothing, but I didn't really attempt to either, though, because I lost Max. So she was like this big when I had to put Max down because Max had a tumor that was right in here, right close to the heart, and all this kind of stuff. They wanted to amputate her leg, and I said, "Is that going to improve her life?" And they said, "Well, no." And I said, "Well, then why the heck would I do that? That's really, that's ignorant to even ask." So I said no, and then we just made Max comfortable for the rest of Max's days, and then I saw that Max livened up when my daughter would bring over her little Chihuahua. So I said, I got to get a little dog for Max. So I found Lacey. And I didn't have Lacey long enough to liven up Max because Lacey was just too little. And then so I just I coddled her. I never had a small dog. It was scared of a small dog. I thought I was going to break a bone. So I was just so, overprotective of Lacey. And then a year later, I lost my husband. So then it was just me and Lacey. So, all my love, all my compassion, all my, she was my crying blanket. She was my everything. I don't know what I would have done without her, actually. Because, to lose the two major loves of your life, you know what I mean? Like that are the closest to you. I mean, the kids are close to me, you know what I mean? But not the same, Yeah. So when I just lost her, 2 years ago now, 3 years ago, I'm not even sure now. I don't, oh my God. But I have reminders of her all over this office. And, she just was such a love. And I said, no more dogs. No more dogs. And then my neighbor came over with little Biscuit, who looked like my little fox.
Oh my
I
goodness.
instantly fell in love.
Oh yeah, when she told me she was never having another animal again in her life, I went, yeah, right, okay. Not a problem.
Yeah. But it's just it's so hard. It's such a heartbreak when, but yeah.
It really is, and I feel your heart right now, and I really do, because it's a lot. Even though we're spiritual, we understand that it's a transformation. It's a rite of passage. Well, you know what? One thing I tell my intergalactic delegations is that it's a one thing to understand it this way, but when you are in that energy and you see those loved ones to love in your life,
Yeah.
going like this, it's a whole different ball game. So I feel you, Gina. I'm sending you so much love right now.
Thank you. I just lost my mom too.
Oh my goodness.
So it's
Oh, I'm so sorry, Gina.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm kind of I'm in a better place now than I was, but I do have my moments. I was in such a funk. Oh my God, it was really hard to get out of it. We just started doing the shows again. Just so
It's a good sign. It's a good sign. You're starting to do shows again.
Yes.
Yay! Huh?
yeah.
It's a grand return.
That's
Very
so
good.
true. It is true because this is important. And I'm so glad that I met you. And and it's so nice that Raven, wanted to come on and she wanted to ask you these questions. And I'm like, well, why don't you just come on and ask, because we're very laid back,
I was going to ask in the chat room, but hey,
this is
I
bad.
get to meet you on video. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very happy, very grateful because beautiful energy and it created a beautiful synergy between all of us. So I'm glad that Raven, you came on the screen even better. And I think it's been a really amazing flow. I mean, time is passing so quickly.
It is. Oh my God, it's 9:30 already. Oh geez, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Well, let's get professional for a minute there.
Yes, and it's very healing, and that's okay. It's very healing.
Oh, yeah.
And empowering because we know that you can share what you've been going through with people who will understand and hold you in the light. So it's perfect.
Yes. And we are like you said, one of the previous shows that you were on, the gentleman was like rapid fire questions. We could get a list of 20 questions and we'll do our best to pick and choose from them. But in general, we just like to let it flow. So this is the perfect situation for it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Did we get into this subject about light language? Because I'm not sure. I don't think we did.
I forgot if we did. If not, let's just do a brush up. So if you look at how many languages or even dialects exist on this planet, right?
Mhm.
I mean, endless. I mean, you can speak 6, 7 languages and still there's countless of different dialects and it's incredible. Well, in the intergalactic groups, there will be also different form of language, and oftentimes the word or the semantic of the word light language refer to whether it's a vibrational tone or geometric light pattern that it will be associated with a group. And I know a lot of people who will speak light language But it's not just one fits all. It will be different layers of expression and tones and patterning system and sound. So it can be complex. It can
Cool.
be, really amazing. And for those who speak these different type of light language or patterning language, it's just phenomenal. I always admire the same thing here. People who speak different languages, there's to me, it's such a gift and ability, and I love it. I recognize it.
Yeah, it's tough to speak other languages. I do think because English is a tough language,
Mhm.
not like any other language in comparison. So we started there, and then we're doing a
French
full circle about
has this flavor.
it. It does, and especially because I'm from Massachusetts originally, so I really butcher the English language in our own unique way.
Oh, and I'm from Rhode Island, so yeah, I understand you, Gina.
Okay,
Thank you.
excuse me,
You throw your bowl in
Karen,
the water.
could you never apologize for asking questions? Ask away, girl.
Yeah,
Yep,
Sharon.
up there
Absolutely.
because yeah, never.
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, what are the keys of activation for healing consciousness and acceleration? What is this?
What is the question again, Gina?
The keys of activation for healing consciousness and acceleration.
Okay, so some of the keys or some of the main points you have to think about again what the word healing really means. We're shifting out of the paradigm of we need to heal past wound and stories, or we're going back to the layers. So more and more that's just going to subside. It's more in terms of recognizing where there may be blockages or where is it at your evolution still to slow you down? Where is it you still this point of anchoring? Where are these anchor points? So when you look at these anchor points, and of course, I want to once again acknowledge you, Gina, what you've gone through. All of loved ones leaving. Of course, it's going to leave something on the heart. So you can take something like that. Says, well, how can I heal my heart in order to really start to continuing elevating exactly elevating my consciousness? Well, it's recognizing where you are and great divine compassion for yourself. It has nothing to do with enabling yourself. But when you have a divine compassion for where you are and understanding your needs, to be more in sync with you, and you are allowing your body, mind, spirit, and heart, and you're allowing yourself to go through these layers with more ease, with more grace, understanding at a higher level, start to feel and perceiving a bigger design behind all of this, and knowing that all of these beautiful souls who've come into your life have shifted into a higher transformational form. And you're the one, I would say, the brave one who needs to continue to soldier through because you have so many beautiful work to do and people transpire just through the show here. So the more we are allowing ourselves to release or unwinding, yes, unwinding ourselves from these heavy layers, we're getting more light, we're getting more momentum, we're getting more also opening your gifts, your intuitive guidance systems, your clear start to get clear. We're releasing the heavy clutter, right? When you do a big spring clearing in your house and you're completely designing and clearing the pathway in your home, it's representing exactly where you are ready to embrace, ready to shift, evolve, bring in more. So you're allowing that space to evolve. I'm hearing a giggle here.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Terrence comment in the chat room. Here, Mama D, you looking kind of saucy over there.
I love Sharon. She also has another show. She has a show called The Paranormal Brew.
Oh,
So,
I love that. What a good name.
yeah, so she's pretty amazing girl too. Yeah, so I mean a lot of we know a lot of people that do all this kind of stuff. So I like the comparison to spring cleaning because we do get in that mode, especially after the winter time, and it's like the winter, you're just kind of sitting back and going over the years sludge basically and clearing that out. By the time spring comes, we're like ready and raring to go because we've already gotten rid of all this crap and we're ready to go forward. And it does start with the house. I've been doing that. I've been doing that in like all the rooms, like I gotta clear this, I gotta clean that, I'm gonna go through this. And right before the show, I was moving stuff. I have so much stuff. Look, my house is full of stuff, but I have this giant piece of furniture right next to me here that I want to pivot and stick against the wall so I have access to air from my window. And I'm like, I need this air to hit
But
me.
you did it right before the show.
Yeah, I'm
And
like,
she hurt
my
herself
hair was
too.
my hair was all nice and curled, fluffy. Now I'm moving stuff, overexerting, hurting my arm. Sit down. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay.
When I came in, I was like, and she was like, I was moving things. Yeah, okay. Well, better that she moves things than she cuts her hair. Yeah, exactly, Sharon.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
it is what it is.
it's a representation of clearing the pathway. I feel this is
Yeah.
very symbolic for you, Gina, when you say, I want to move that piece of furniture over to that wall so you can have more air coming in. So I feel like, what is it from inside of you? Maybe your heart is ready to bring more light. What is the next breath of fresh air that you are ready to
Mm-hmm.
embrace? That's very symbolic, what you just said. Very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Thank you for pointing that out.
You're welcome.
We do things like this too on an unaware level, you
Yeah.
know, and then someone will point that out. Well, did you think of this? And then it's like, oh well, gee, that makes sense. And that's kind of exactly it. Yeah, decluttering is decluttering here and decluttering here. It feng shui. It's
Hmm.
flowing air and movement and energies and everything. And I have a block right here, and I don't like it.
Me too. I have this question, and I'm not sure if I worded it correctly, but have you ever met a galactic being who's earthbound that hasn't realized or forgotten for some reason who they are?
That's a good question, actually, Mama D, because there's many soul essence of representative from different intergalactic groups that comes here
Mm-hmm.
and bring in a soul emanation of themselves, and will be born into these beautiful human bodies. But some after time, what happened is that we get so ingrained right at the beginning to identify ourselves with
Mm-hmm.
the environment, the ancestral lineage, or the influence of the upbringing, the belief systems or parents or guardians around us, the dynamic with siblings or whatever's going on. So the consciousness forget or lose sight of, oh, that's right. I come here as a representative of this
Mm-hmm.
intergalactic delegation of this group, and I've come to bring a very unique frequency. And then later on in life, they will discover it most likely because it's still who they are. But I have encountered many of them. So sometimes when people say, I always feel something's off for me. I feel like I've just been dropped on this planet and I'm not home, or my family is not my family. Well, from an earth perspective and from a soul experience perspective, in this lifetime, they are. This is the soul group that you decide to come through to learn, help support each other and so forth. I always say, think of it this way. We understand that many souls will come from a multitude of places in the multiverse. But once you're on the planet here on Gaia, think of Gaia as your summer house. This is your summer house. This is your
Okay.
other home away from home. So just make yourself comfortable. Connect with Gaia. Connect with what you've come to do. Be at peace with being
Mm-hmm.
here and understand that you've come on a grand design, a grand purpose. People always say, but what is my purpose? Just the fact that you are here in physical incarnation tells you that you've come to bring a lot of light, maybe stability, maybe going through grief so you can talk about it, helping people to evolve,
Mm-hmm.
or having a podcast, or just be. Sorry, the energy shifted and I can feel in my throat. or you can just be an inspiration in the day to day. I talked about before in interview. I worked 20 years in corporate America. Can you see me in the office?
No.
Hello, this is the office. Oh, leave a message, please. Well, I understood, even back then, I understood that it was an experience that I was learning from. I
Mm,
understood that I was still this bridge. And we were looking at what was the interaction within microclimate. So each job or each company or each organization, it's a microclimate of a world within another world. So I'll
yeah.
give you an example of this. One thing I realized is let's say you work for this company 5, 10, 20, sometimes 20 years, or even 30 years.
Mm,
But within that company, there will be certain structures of authority, reward system, punishment system, which you've learned, training, colleagues, human trauma, human collaboration, and so forth. But when you are in that microclimate, what other things or the core values of that climate is so important. How you want to fit in, you want to make sure you get employees of the month, you can get the bonus, you can have a better paycheck, and then the accolade that you get, hey, good job, look what you've done, or you don't perform enough and you get anxious about it. What happened is that your entire reality, your entire world start to revolve around that box.
yeah.
When you exit that box, you go, huh, what was it so important about it? Then you move on. It's no longer applicable to that reality you're moving on to. So it's the same thing as these projected realities that we coexist in, is at different stages of your life, you're learning different lessons, you're exploring, you go through events, but they're designed to help you understand and learn more wisdom and gain more light, not to hold you back in that reality. This
Mm,
is why I use this analogy we can all relate to. This is why I went through that experience, so I can understand the different stages of evolutionary process, consciousness,
Mhm.
how people think. I
Yep.
mean, I've learned so much from human behavior just working these corporate jobs. This was phenomenal.
Well, I tried doing jobs up until I was 16, maybe. And after that, I've been my own boss my whole entire life. So uh, I knew taking orders from someone is not my forte. It's just not. Whatever job I did have, I would take over. I went from, just going into management within a month's time,
yeah.
and and it was just like, well, why am I doing this for someone else? Why am I doing this for someone else? So I stopped doing it for someone else and did it for me. And it's tough because like the way I see things, I thought everybody saw things the way I see things, and they don't. And it took some realizing of that by communicating with other people. I'm like, well, you don't understand this. You really don't see this big picture here. You have no clue, right? And they
Yeah.
don't. Not any. And it's like, but this goes along with Sharon's question.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you sent with a certain type of skill sets? And she says an example is like savants. I do think we all have our different skill sets,
Yep.
and every single one of them is needed. So I was needed to spearhead all the projects and all the construction things that I did that will far outlive me, you know, um, and got that done. That's an important job. But also in that important field is the person that was on the lower end of that, if you want to put it that way, as a hierarchy, as in this one organizes, this one does, this one builds, this one brings, this one, you know what I mean? All the things, you need all the things to make the whole, like you were saying,
Yes.
doing this comparison like this. All of those things have to come together. You need plumbers and electricians and roof framers and plasterers and this and that to make this whole,
To make the house.
to make the house. So and I think, like, and then in the metaphysical world, we need all the different types of people. We need the healers, and we need the pranic healers, and we need the Reiki healers, and we need the Vivians of the world to bring us all the knowledge, the understanding of why, why is it necessary to have all of this? And oh, Sharon, get off my wavelength. Never. but but you know what I'm saying, and then that's kind of, I mean, that's kind of where all that conversation was going right there. It's all important. It's all important. There is no one, even when you feel down or bad about yourself, or I'm in this no end job. Well, that no end job is a necessity. You need to be there. Like you said, you were in that corporate zone. You had to do that to learn that lesson, to understand, a different mindset of different people. You had to go through that. And so does everybody else, I don't know. I'm on a rant. I should stop.
Well, and to your point, Gina, if you look at all of this, to the point is we understand that we also watching the old structures shifting. All of these are soul experiences. It's no longer about it's no longer about the nature of the work itself. Is what does your soul come to learn? What is your soul is evolving, and what is important is allowing yourself to shift and evolve and expand, rather than casting you or limiting you in a very limiting box of a perceived reality. Because right here on this call, I can tell 4 different projected realities where we're simply coexisting in the time frame that we call this radio podcast, right? So when you are exploring the 3D matrix, whether it's through career, job, sitting on a bench in a park, growing a grocery, anything that seems to be mundane, it's in reality, it's higher consciousness still engaging with higher consciousness. It's just simply looking at the different stages, observing. When I was in my early 20s, I had a very wise spiritual teacher. Her name was Gabby. Gabby always says, think of it as you're entering a laboratory. You look into this lab, you're sitting there, and by observation, you can learn so much. And the learning is what you allow yourself to really understand where people are, whether it's the dynamic of a job frame, whether it's when you go in a spiritual conference, people shift their behavior because they go like, we're here to be spiritual, so I can allow myself to be. Or after the conference, sometimes people feel blue because they feel disconnected. So it's really understanding the dynamic of, yes, observing with the purpose. I like that. Thank you so much. Observing with the purpose of learning, and better have a deeper appreciation for what you're observing, whether it's a group of people, a group of children playing, the dynamic among themselves, whether it's observing others making comments. We can learn so much. So the secret art of observation lead to so much more. And that's an aspect, and I do say an aspect of what your intergalactic brothers and sisters are doing. They are observing how the consciousness is evolving on the planet. If
I
that makes
really needed to hear this word today.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really, really did. That's why I said this is definitely the word of the day, and
Yay.
maybe even a month.
It's gonna be my new word now. It's gonna be my new outlook.
Yeah,
To be observing. Yes, I like that.
very much, very much. It's a really good word, and it really means a lot.
Yeah.
It's a thing that a lot of people forget to do. Now we just live, we just go on. We're not living. We live.
Yes.
And to be able to say that I'm living something, you have to pay attention to what you're doing, to who you're seeing, everything. So yeah, observing is it's an important word. It's so small. And stop looking at Mr. Sexy Legs over there.
Yeah, hi.
I was just thinking it's her back. There you go. I'm Mr. Hearts, dude. So not disrespectful.
Go down. Say hi.
Oh, I heard that one. Oh, hey, Bob.
Hi.
Excuse me,
there.
Bob. When you go back into your zone there, don't forget to send our hearts in the chat too.
He just got home. He had to go meet with the boys tonight. Yep, the big
Wow,
part.
troublemakers. But yeah, so we need that reminder. And
Is she
Yes,
frozen? Vivian's frozen in the
I
heart.
know.
no, she's
My
good.
goodness.
I'm going to just refresh my camera, but I'm still here completely. But
Yeah.
yes, we need to
Okay.
be in that zone. It's a good observation. I like what you just said,
Yep.
Mama V. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay,
Oh,
bye. Are you
bye,
taking him
honey.
in with you? Dog's going down with him. Yeah.
Raven, do you have any other questions?
I what I wonder about is, and I think that this is so fabulous that you have come out and that you're willing to allow others to know what your journey is and what your mission is. And I know that there are others like you. I
Yeah.
know that they try very, very hard to give us disclosure softly um, through TV programs and things like that. Um, do you feel like, now I'm not being ugly, but do you feel like the American public or the public is ready for disclosure? Because to be honest with you, and I'm not trying to be ugly, but we can't even handle a toilet paper shortage.
She said it. I was waiting for this, but it's so true.
Yeah.
And I wish that, we could, is there some sort of disclosure that is in the making because you are in all of these different communities and committees, and I'll shut up so you can answer.
Can you join? Can you join what? Can you join the Arturians? Just, I think
No,
you're part of
you
that
meant,
already.
yeah, I think it's, can I join overall? Yes, of course you can. Yes, of course. So the last 4 years, I've shown humanity where is your sensitivity and what you are ready to embrace more.
Mm.
So yes, your primal instinctual energies have been triggered. You were told repeatedly you even might die or starve, and you better run to the store and get everything that you need. There's a lot of programming and a lot of pushing behind it. It was
Yes.
it was a global event that was designed on purpose. And let's just make it this way. They knew exactly what they were doing. Whose they is the dark light polarity, the denser side. Those who think that they are the master commander of this planet. And so, of course, it has triggered human beings at a more profound level. So
Mm.
give yourself credit because it was a big deal. Those of us who have been on the path, well, we didn't run to the grocery store to get toilet paper. We're like, we'll have enough. We'll be good.
Yeah.
Those who have been running to do that is just to show you where you were at the time. But 4 years later, what thing we are seeing more and more is more of a overall more unification or harmonization into what you're really ready to embrace more. Now that you've gone through all of that crisis, you're going to be more prepared than if they want to push another make believe fabricated crisis. You're going to go, yeah, you got me the first time. I was running at the
Yeah.
store, you know, and just with compassion, just if you're one of those, just have compassion. Let's laugh about it together because we're elevating the energy
Yeah,
together.
I think it's more laughing with than laughing at. I mean,
Oh,
at
yeah.
the time, everybody was freaking out.
And that's what I'm
Right.
saying. It's laughing
But
with each other. And
exactly.
absolutely. But it's just a perspective that it was a really big global push. But you know
Yeah.
what? It's like a rubber band. Think of it. The dark light polarity, pulled the rubber band well beyond capacity.
Hmm.
What happened is that they knew that they reached a point of no return. And what do I mean by that? I mean that at some point, if you're holding a rubber band and you're really super stretching it, and you go like, "Uh-oh, I've gone too far." Like my video is frozen again, but I'm still
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I stretch it too hard, if I stretch it too much, the counterpart of the response of the light must happen. And that's exactly what we are experiencing right now. So
Mm.
imagine still me holding this rubber band that is overly stretched, and I have no choice but to let it go. So what is happening is the response of where we are right now is this accelerated acceleration, this accelerated opening of the consciousness, so we can have deeper, more meaningful, more intelligent conversation and look
Mhm.
back and to go, hmm, well, we play Halloween together. We eat all this kind of stuff in toilet paper. Now we know. Now we know where we are, right? Now
Like
we
you
know
said,
where we can
toilet paper.
gain.
We know where that came from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you can throw that toilet paper, but roll it back up.
Even.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's just
Jonathan.
Will
Just
there be some more disclosure to the human race about this?
disclosure has been going on for generations. And to your point, Raven, when you talk about all the pop culture movies back in the 80s, even the 70s when Star Wars came,
mm,
Encounter of the Third Kind, Close Encounter, I mean, of the Third Kind. This is
Mhm.
based on a real story. It happened. It is
yeah.
true.
Yes.
It is true. It's they came and there was an exchange done between two civilizations, but it was disclosed to you in a way that was a fantastic sci-fi movie that is still talked about 30, 40 years later. Same thing with, all the series like V back in the time, the reptilian disguised as human coming to the planet. Hello, they're here. They've been here for generations. So
Hmm.
that self-disclosure has been shifting in nature alongside with what the population and the collective global consciousness is capable of receiving. Now, today we want it more face value. Tell us right away the way it is. Back 30, 20 years ago, you would say, let's create a sci-fi TV series that's going to be super popularized, but we're telling you how things are. It's right in
Yeah.
front of you, but we're starting to talk to your subconscious field to
Yeah.
prepare you.
But like
Why
people
is
like Walt Disney in the world, like he had that vision. Do you think that that was coming from somewhere else?
no, Walt Disney is something else. I don't want to touch that. No, Walt
Okay.
Disney is completely something else.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know,
But
yeah,
it's like these different people have these different visions, and then they bring it to
true.
people through film. Is the point? But what Sharon is saying here, what the make time move faster on Earth? Plus, have you seen that the Earth is spinning faster? Are we spinning faster?
We're stepping out of the false paradigm of the linear time. So we're moving out of the time construct of being a linear being. And so we're trying to there's a certain universal rhythm, there's a pulse that is starting to feel. That's because our frequencies start to spin a little bit faster. We're starting
Mhm.
to get more light. Our body become more clear conduit. Your consciousness is reopening. So of course it's gonna match that pulse. You're starting to come back into universal alignment. We talk about the law of oneness. Well, it's time to come back into abiding by the universal laws. The
Yes.
intergalactic communities knows about those laws. So Earth human, you've been isolated into your little time capsule called the 3D linear time. So you're moving out of it. So of course everything's going to change. Everything's starting to feel faster,
Mm.
feel like a day or a week become a day, a month become a week. That's because you're no longer perceiving time the same way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The Schumann resonance contributing to that?
The Schumann resonance is also part of it for sure, Raven, because there's a distinct planetary acceleration that is reflecting into our own biological response and the way your nervous system responds to it, the way
Hmm.
your lymphatic system or your chromosomes or the perception of time, how your biological clock is working, you are all intertwined with the synergy as a holistic system of life with the earth. So that's a good point, Raven.
Very good point. Definitely.
Just
Jonathan, what is the question? Did you have a question that you want to
no,
ask?
he wanted to, I think he wanted to come on the show, not just in the chat, but live on
Oh,
air. But unfortunately, Jonathan, it's not that we don't want you here. It's just that we have
2 minutes left. Yeah, we have only 2 minutes left. I cannot believe that 2 hours just
it's like
flew by. Poof.
Like this.
Yeah.
I
We have to
know.
have you back. You have to come back on the show sometime.
Thank you.
most definitely.
And it was such an honor to meet you. I swear. I know I keep saying it, but it was. It is.
Aw.
Thank you.
Yeah. Big
Just sharing
hearts. Big hearts.
Oh yeah.
So what do you have going on that we can
Promote.
for you? Do you have
Because I have put into the chat room, guys, I'll put it in one more time. Viviane's website. So you can go check out her website, and if you want to learn more about her, I'll put it in there again.
Thank you.
infinitehealingfromthestars.com. You can see her on YouTube, Viviane Chauvet, Galactic Healer. Okay, Facebook, Viviane Chauvet, Galactic Healer. All right, then she has a a regular page too. Oh, that we're going into questions, but she's on all of the
She's on all the social medias. I'm following you. Yes.
Thank you. That's awesome.
All of them, because so
And I friend requested you.
Instagram, LinkedIn, Alignable,
Yes.
all the things. I mean, so find her, follow her, watch some of her videos on YouTube, your podcast there. You have some pretty amazing guests, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you. Yes, like here, very amazing energies. I also have twice a month, I offer free meditation series. Right now, we're doing what's called the Rays of Creation. And of course, I add another meditation. It's completely for free on YouTube. I have an online community with a beautiful membership. I'm going to be traveling, doing conferences. I'm going to be in Illinois, Grafton, Illinois, for Rebels of Disclosure. And that's coming up May 13th to the 17th. Then I'm going to be at Contact in the Desert at the end of May, beginning of June, for the world premiere of a documentary based on the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac film coming through. And we'll have the screening of the movie and a Q&A with the filmmaker, some of the cast members like myself, and the directors after the movie, right at Contact in the Desert in California. And we also going to be traveling out of the country. We're going to be going through Portugal. We're going to Japan, Australia, and Uluru this year. Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid of Australia.
Yes.
Only because of the spiders.
Big bugs. Big bugs.
Yes. I'll negotiate with Mother Nature, and I'm doing two beautiful seminar at seas. It's on a cruise ship. One of the first in September, we're going to Alaska, and it's a conference, but on a cruise ship.
Nice.
And you can have lecture activation workshop done, and then the one in December.
There's still space available?
Yes, there's still space available.
Is that on your website?
Yes, there's one on the website. I need to put the other one. The other one is in December. We're leaving from Orlando, Florida, and we're going to Cozumel, Belize, the Mayans ruins, and it's called Galactic Origins Cruise. Beautiful conference with myself and other amazing with Portal to Ascension and Divine Travels.
Wow, that's amazing. So that would be go to the website and check out and see what she has available. I love cruising. I want to go. I want to do that cruise to Alaska. Is there time to fish? I need to salmon fish in Alaska. My life will be complete.
Well, there you go. See,
but I do want to. We are at the end of our time. I do.
We definitely have to have you back.
Yeah, I very much appreciate you coming on, and you too, Raven. And we'll see you tomorrow night on your show, 8:00. You can see me and Mama D with Raven.
Yes.
We love you very much.
That's Soulfire Ascension.
Yes, I will be definitely pumping up that show for tomorrow night's show, It's a 1 hour show unless we talk too daggone much, and then Rafe will have
Could end up a little longer.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so. All right, but thank you so much. And again,
It's been
the
a
word of
blessing
the
and an honor.
day is what, everybody? Observing.
Yes, observation.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Much
Stay
love.
with us just for a minute here, and we're going to say good night to all of you guys. We'll see you all next week and tomorrow. And thank you for joining us. Share the show, please.
Yep, please do.
Good night. We thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, as well as our Anchor audio venues. We hope you enjoyed our show and our guest, and we would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.